you're the one with the big news, actually. And based off the title of this podcast, everybody knows what it is.
Welcome back to Cue the Mic.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. Episode 6.
6? Whoa.
Yep.
We're on a roll.
I think this is going to be a big one. But
you think this is going to be a big one?
I do.
Yeah. I'm going to try and suffer through this. Had a little hernia surgery on Monday, so having a tough time kind of sitting in one position for a long time. So if you see me squirming and whatever, don't worry. It's just I'm just trying to work through a little bit of the pain. Not too bad though. Much better than I expected.
That's good.
Yeah.
Out of the office a couple of days.
Yeah, supposed to be. Of course, I have the surgery on Monday afternoon. Tuesday, feeling pretty good, and then I decide Wednesday, I'm like, I'm just going to go back in the office just for an hour or so, and I spent 3 or 4 hours there, and yesterday morning, and boy, did I paid for it. Yesterday afternoon, I was hurting for certain, so kind of vegged out, and then I told Sherry, I said, hey, I'll stay at home tomorrow. I'll just veg out, do what the doctor says. Until about 5 o'clock this morning when I'm like, I can't sit around here. So I got up, went to breakfast, went into the office for a few hours, and I just can't be away. I don't know. I can't sit in one place. I want to be part of the action. So we'll get back, shoot the podcast, and I can spend the afternoon in the recliner recuperating for tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that'll be good for you.
Yeah.
Didn't you called me Monday before your surgery, and like an old man, didn't you also hurt your knee this weekend?
Oh yeah. My knee hurts. My knee hurts worse than the hernia surgery. Sunday was we cook barbecue contest. Friday, Saturday. We can talk about that. And then on Sunday we decided to do a lot of like landscaping projects, and I had a mini excavator out here, and we're loading big rock, and I'm trying to think of everything possible I can do that required lifting over the next 2 weeks. Like I needed to get briskets out of the freezer. I'm just trying to do all this stuff, get ready for this surgery, knowing that I was going to be able to lift 10 pounds for at least a couple weeks. And so I'm trying to get all this stuff done. In the meantime, I twist my knee. It had been hurting a little bit. Then it hurt a lot. And so actually when I went into surgery, I just assumed they did knee surgery as hernia surgery because the hernia didn't hurt me at all and my knee was killing me. And so, but, laying around allowed that to rest a little bit. It's back to being sore again today because I can't sit in the recliner all day long. It's just impossible to do. So,
right.
But anyway, we'll try and rest it up. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I thought you'd made it sound like you heard it at the competition. I didn't know you just were
no.
doing
It was
stuff.
I don't want to call it the honeydew list because Sherry did not give me a list, okay? And she doesn't listen, but she does not give me honeydew list because that's the first thing she'd say. But we were just trying to get stuff done. We were trying to get stuff done around the house, and it's just, I don't know, just getting old. Getting a hernia, first surgery ever. Hernia, fucking leg hurts, back hurts. Yeah, I think it's time to start talking about retirement.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding. I can't do that.
So how did the competition go this weekend? I didn't end up going. I had a list of things I needed to do, and the only day I could get my mom was Saturday to do my landscaping, so I skipped out. But
it was good. We actually had 70 degrees and sunny, so Sherry attended.
Yeah.
And so had a good time. The guys, at the Iowa Barbecue Store and down at Warehouse Barbecue in Ottumwa, they put on a really good show, simplistic contest, but a lot of good teams there and just a lot of fun. This new breed of, I call them a new breed of cookers, the corn cookers, they call them down at thing. They're just a lot of fun to be around. I just enjoy being around that group. I'm going to figure out how do I get a membership into the thing, because they remind me of, 15 years ago when we first started cooking, and the way they hang out and the way they just have fun, and they're constantly cooking things and joshing and having beers, and just a ton of fun. So, but we got into the competition, thought I had a pretty good cook. I woke up early, so I went ahead, put my brisket on early. I really don't run a timeline necessarily, but it kind of hurt me a little bit. But, thought I cooked really good chicken. I actually got a 9th place call in chicken, which was like crazy exciting for me because chicken has not been scoring. And then we thought we cooked a really good rib, but it was maybe just a little too tender, just a little skosh tender. And I think it hit 16th or whatever, which is fine. I probably deserve that from a tender standpoint. And then pork. So I'm talking to a good friend, Randy Kern.
Yeah.
And he's the pork god, in Iowa. I mean, his
pork is delicious.
His pork is delicious. Yeah. And so anyway, I'm sitting in his trailer just kind of, what do you do when you got a really good pork cook around? You try and glean secrets from the pork cook. And so Randy pulls out this picture of his pork box and he goes, I ran this for about 50 times. It really used to work really well. And I look at this and going, hey, there's a nice new variation of a box. So I cooked up pork and turned in the same exact pork. Okay. Not his same recipes, even though he did offer me his rub. He makes it from scratch. But he kind of just, the presentation looked really good. The pork cooked really good. And we ended up getting 2nd place pork. And I told him, I said, Randy, I bet you you'll, be top 5 in pork easily. I could bet you $10. I'd bet anybody $10 every day that Randy Kern's going to be or top 5 in pork at a contest. And Randy gets 12th, but he's first on his table. He wins his table and gets 12th. And so I went over to him afterwards and I said, hey, dude, sorry about the pork, but hey, thanks for the tips because I got 2nd. He was pretty excited. So we have a lot of fun joshing. And then, timeline-wise, brisket, I kind of put my brisket on a half hour early, and I didn't adjust kind of the time I took it off. So it got a little overdone. It actually was quite a bit overdone, actually. And so I kind of cost myself there because it was actually a really good brisket, but it dried out a little bit. I think they killed me. I don't know. I got 20th or 30th. I really don't keep track of, and it kind of threw me out of the whole deal. I think I don't even know what I finished. Can't even tell you. Did I get 12th or 20th? Doesn't matter. If you're not winning, you're losing.
Fair enough.
So, but overall, great time, great contest. Francis Dutton is a long-time barbecue cook and organized a good contest, and we just a lot of fun. Lots of fun with lots of good friends. A great Iowa contest, and look forward to going back every year.
In good old O-Town.
In O-Town, yeah.
I haven't been there in a while.
The armpit of the world.
Whoa, come on.
It's a meat packing plant. Come on. I mean, it's a meat packing town. I mean,
it's fair.
It really wasn't too bad. And Warehouse Barbecue, I tell you what, we ate at Warehouse. Not to toot on Dusty's horn at all, but he put some killer food out. I mean, I had some sort of Cuban melt type thing, and they had mac and cheese balls with pork in them, drizzled with a sauce. Really tasted a lot of food. Really hit it out of the park. Really doing a great job down there. So if you're in Ottumwa, Iowa, Warehouse Barbecue is the place to be, along with our good friends at Bubba Q's, though. Yeah. Bubba Q's is really good, too. Longtime friends there. They have great food. Just two nice competing barbecue joints down there in Ottumwa. So it's really nice.
Yeah. I do enjoy both of them when I'm down there. But yeah. Wow. Good old Ottumwa. So, not a bad weekend. That's a win for you.
Not a bad weekend. And then, trying to get everything done, and I finally got around to cooking my Pork-Strami.
Yeah. Did you bring me any? I saw your picture on Instagram. I was going to comment, but I didn't. I should have.
No, it was. I finally brined it, and I didn't want to. So then I couldn't lift it because I had this container full of 4 pork collars. Right, I had these Smithfield pork collars in the thing. So I had them in the brine for like 7 days or 8 days. I had brined them a week ago Sunday. So Monday after surgery, I come home and I'm like, I really need to cook these things. But so I had Sherry help me take them out, and I put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then I seasoned them up. So then yesterday morning I got up early before I went to the office and threw them on the smoker, or I threw one of them because I wanted to test to make sure they were brined all the way through. And they were almost perfect. They just needed one more day, which the other three got one more day, and they're actually sitting out on the cooker right now. But it was, I envisioned this sandwich that I was, taking, and I really wanted old style rye bread. I didn't want marble rye bread, but I couldn't find any without driving around town. So I took marble rye bread and I put it on the flat top, put a couple slices of Swiss cheese down. I put some Kelly's Gourmet mustard. If you're a mustard person, Kelly's Gourmet is like out of this world good. And then I put Thousand Island. I was going to make my own Thousand Island, but last minute I just put some Thousand Island dressing on it. I put the Pork-Strami down, and then I put some of our creamy coleslaw from the restaurant on top of it. Oh my God. It was, you know how you know when a sandwich is good?
Yeah.
When you get done eating the sandwich, trying to figure out what just happened to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, Emma, maybe we'll take a picture. Maybe you can flop up a picture if you're that talented on the podcast of my Pork-Strami sandwich. But I'm actually looking forward to trying to run that a little. I'm not sure if we're going to run it as a special in the restaurant, out on the food truck, or I'm thinking maybe a Pork-Strami mac at the Crafty Mac might be a good solution.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, maybe cube it up and maybe drop it in the deep fryer, crisp it up a little bit, make a little Iowa style, a little sweet corn on there, a little Pork-Strami.
Sounds like you already have a plan.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, it's making me hungry. I'm going to have another one for lunch.
Yeah. Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah.
That does sound good. Well, if you get leftovers.
I don't want to take them.
But I've actually been cooking myself, so I don't really know.
You have?
I have. Yeah. I'm trying this workout program that my parents did, and I have to eat a couple meals a day, so I have to cook a lot of food. So, yeah, I've been using my oven quite a bit. I used it twice this morning.
So, like what? What have you been cooking?
Just your basics. Like last night I made steak, like a little 4-ounce steak. Sweet
in the
potatoes.
oven?
No, I have a grill top.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
I was gonna lame baste you there and
No.
okay.
No. But I did bake some asparagus and sweet potatoes. And I was enjoying it by my fire. I had to burn some brush from the backyard, and my dog ate my steak straight off my plate. I had my back turned for 3 seconds, and I turned back around, was so excited to eat my steak, and it was gone. She's wagging her tail like, "Can I have another one?" So that was really fun for me.
That's so funny. My dog didn't eat my homework. My dog ate my steak.
Ate my dinner. So
I love grilled sweet potatoes. Everybody that knows me knows I love them, and I've got a taco in there somewhere. I just envision this blue corn tortilla with grilled sweet potatoes, black beans, kind of almost a vegan type thing. I don't know, vegetarian, whatever deal. And it just, I just crave it. I crave rice and beans these days.
Huh.
And I have no idea why.
Traditional rice and beans.
Yeah, the red beans and rice. Oh,
the red beans and rice are good.
I need to make that again.
I agree.
We'll get on that. So what else is going on?
Oh, that's really it for me. You're the one with the big news, actually. And based off the title of this podcast, everybody knows what it is. But Darren's officially a Hall of Famer. You were a Hall of Famer in Iowa, but now national. You're big time.
Now I'm a national Hall of Famer. Is that what they call it, big time now?
I don't know. I feel like, probably. It's probably one of your highest achievements you could get, I'd assume.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and hey, it's great to be recognized, right?
Yeah.
And is it something that I aspired to be? No. You know, I aspire to be multiple world champions. That's my aspiration. I want to win more world champions. Right. And so even though to be recognized by your peers, you know, from a Hall of Fame and the whole committee and stuff, I mean, I think I've been nominated the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And so, you know, finally made it in. And you know, it's kind of been a give it or take thing. And Sherry always lectures me. She's like, you need to, this is a lot bigger deal than you're leading on to believe, you know.
I agree with Sherry.
And I'm not a big self-promotion guy. Okay. I like to promote stuff, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try and over-promote myself. Are you going to disagree with that or what?
No, I mean, we have a podcast just so you can talk.
Well, we're only doing this podcast, Emma, because you want to do this podcast.
Well, because you like to talk. And
well, yeah.
Self-promote a little bit. So, I mean, I wouldn't say you don't.
I think if I wanted to self-promote, that I'd probably write a book. I'd probably have barbecue classes. I would sign up for a lot of this TV stuff that I always turn down because I just like to cook.
Sounds like you might be on local TV tonight.
Really?
I think so. That KCCI DM I got today. I think they're going to run a quick little story about you.
Quick little story. Well, I don't watch the news, so you're going to have to tell me what happened.
I don't watch it either, so I'll just have to.
There's no good thing. You'll watch it tonight now, though.
Yeah, probably.
But, you know, the coolest thing about this whole deal that I didn't realize, because they announced it yesterday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm like, hey, I knew it was coming. Only a couple days worth, but I knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. They had called me on Monday, I think it was, and said, hey, you're in. Keep it quiet. Tell your family if you want. No social media, any of that type of stuff. Okay, fine. But the coolest thing has been hearing from almost every single person that I've ever met in barbecue.
Yeah.
All night long, Facebook, text, people that I haven't talked to in years, actually. And I think pretty much every living Hall of Fame member has sent me a message last night.
Well, that is pretty cool.
So that was it kind of sunk in that, hey, maybe this isn't a bad thing. Maybe Sherry is right.
Always remember that.
Maybe I'll always remember that. Sherry's always right. But, you know, maybe I should take it for what it is. I mean, it is an honor. Don't get me wrong. We worked our butts off, but I don't feel like we worked. You know, all we've done is we went out with a mission. We wanted to win barbecue. We wanted to have fun. We open a restaurant. Right. We want to serve good food, and we want to make customers happy. That's all we want. We don't want anything else out of the deal. So, anyway, looks like a pretty good class. You know, we'll do a induction ceremony. I think they call it the Black Apron event at the American Royal. And that was my biggest concern. I didn't want to, you know, my American Royal, I love the American Royal, right? Yeah. And it's my favorite contest of the year. And I didn't want to have like a busy schedule at the American Royal. I didn't want to be paraded around and whatever, because I wanted to be with my friends and I wanted to have my annual tenderloin feed and I wanted to just do normal things and hang out and be the Royal. And I think this will put a little bit, I don't want to put a damper on it. I mean, we're going to celebrate it. Yeah. But, you know, this will be a little bit different from a Royal perspective because of, you know, other things going on that we'll have to deal with. But that's okay. We'll make the best of it.
Right. Exactly. It's all good stuff.
Plus, there's a lot of really good in the class of 2003 in the Hall of Fame. You know, Bill Arnold making it into the Hall of Fame. You know, the owner of Blues Hawk. I mean, Bill and I love him to death. Known him for years, ever since we started. You know, passed away a couple years, and it's just finally, I'm super, super happy to be able to be part of the class with him. Just his memory of everything he did for barbecue is just crazy, crazy good. And then, like the barbecue forum, most people don't know about the barbecue forum. And if you I think you can still type in the BBQ forum, and this is where we went. And you could go back, I think you can go back and still search messages. And I was Smokin' Clone back then. SMOKINCLONE. Okay, Smokin' Clone. And this is where we learned how to barbecue. And this is where people shared, recipes and tips and tricks. This was before Facebook. This was before Google. And we talked about this before. But Barbecue Forum, my good friend Mike Tucker, I knew they were in before I was in. Because they had called me to convince my good friend Mike Tucker, who used to own a Hog Eyes Barbecue, who actually, fun fact, started with Ray Basso from the Barbecue Forum, started the BBQ Hall of Fame. And actually, what's funny is before it went national, I was on the committee that selected the first Hall of Fame.
You were?
I forgot all about that. But Mike Tucker says, don't you remember there was 7 of us, like Ray Lampe? And he was going to come up with the initial charter and that's back when it was very small. And then the American Royal they picked it up and made it a national event after 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it was, I was part of the initial induction, of people that selected who should be in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. And that's been so long ago. That was 2003, 2004. I don't even remember who was in it then. But Mike was going to try and dig that up. So I'll be standing up on stage with Mike. He's not a public person guy, but it'll be a lot of fun because he's super proud to be up there representing Ray Basso, who passed away, who was kind of the computer geek nerd behind the Barbecue Forum. He wasn't really even a barbecue guy. He was just promoting, and he had the forum, and he monitored it all himself, and it was just a great time. So just to be part of that with those two up on stage, or the spirit, of course, of Ray Basso, and all the old timers will know this. I mean, it was just an amazing thing. And the new timers, if you can go out and search the Barbecue Forum, I think some of that stuff's still out there, and you can find a lot of great information that I think probably still holds true today.
Yeah, that is pretty special. Really shows your age, too. No, I'm just kidding.
That was my biggest concern about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So I was talking, switch gears a little bit. So I was talking to my good buddy Luke Darnell yesterday. And for those of you that may have noticed that Emma brought up, she was looking about podcast stuff, and she goes, Darren, do you know we copied Luke's logo off his podcast? Now, Luke has a well-known podcast called the Pitmaster Podcast by Luke Darnell.
Yeah.
Old Virginia Smoke. Over 100 episodes I've been on it. He's had it's an interview podcast. It's not just us babbling about each other, right? But it's an interview podcast where he's interviewing all the top cooks in the country, and legacy cooks, and just everything. Does a great job. Well, supposedly great minds think alike. Yeah. And so when we were designing our logo, Haley designed it, and I said, Haley, did you design Luke's logo too? And she goes, Luke has a podcast? Okay, well then I knew she didn't do it. And I'm not sure if I picked up the idea from him kind of telepathically or what. I have no idea what happened, but our logos look really the same.
Yeah. Same thing, different font.
Hey, Luke, buddy, sorry, not changing my logo, but I will give you this. Anytime anybody sees my logo, I want you to think of Luke's podcast, and I want you to go give it a listen and a follow.
Yeah.
Right? Because it is really good stuff. And so I told him that yesterday. I said, I'm not going to change it because I want people to think about your podcast when they're listening to ours, because his really is a lot of great information in there. So, hey, sorry, Luke. Sorry, buddy, but I'm not sure how that happened. That's crazy. But I
think it's just a crazy coincidence, because I didn't even notice. I was, when we'd kind of found out we were going to do this type of episode, I was Googling Darren's name to see if I could pull up any more interesting facts about him. And some of the podcasts he'd been on had popped up, and I was looking at Luke's stuff, and I was like, wait a minute. That looks way too similar. And then,
I get a text message. We copied Luke's logo, and I'm like, what? Yeah. What are you talking about? And I didn't even know Luke had a podcast logo, to tell you the truth. I don't.
Yeah, I know he had a logo. I didn't even think about it. So yeah, sorry, Luke.
Oh well, sorry, Luke. Sorry, buddy.
Our podcast mentor. We just copied him straight up.
Right. So Luke had called after I got the Hall of Fame, induction, and we were, and I said, I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know in my mind. What's going on here? Why it doesn't seem like that's this big of a deal for me at this point. And he said, Darren, you've said it too many, many times. And I said, what's that? And he goes, it's all about being relevant. He said, you, me, Darren, are worried about if you make it into the Hall of Fame, then you won't be relevant anymore. Right? And there's a lot of people in the BBQ Hall of Fame that are still relevant. But there's also a lot of people that, they don't compete anymore, or they don't own restaurants anymore, or, that type thing, that they become less relevant. And I want to be relevant in the barbecue world, and this does this, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be relevant in the competition barbecue world. I still want to win world championships. I still want to be,
down.
Well, I mean, like, when we do the ceremony, I'm going to have to give a speech up in front of this crowd of 20,000 people. Well, what am I going to say? Hey, I got to get back to my seat because I expect to be on this stage again, and that's truly the way I feel. And trust me, for all the barbecue guys out there, trust me, I will not talk for 15 minutes. Because there's nothing worse. You're wanting to see who won the biggest barbecue contest in the land, and they put the BBQ Hall of Fame induction and right ahead of that, and it's fine. But it just people sit around for like 45 minutes or an hour, and they get very anxious because it's nice to see who gets inducted, but really what they want to know if they won the American Royal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be right there with them. So
yeah, that's a good mindset, I think. Post. Yeah, stay relevant.
So what about the other nominees? I never even, tell you the truth, really bad. Never even really read the list. People sent me like Ray Basso, Bill Arnold. I knew that. Who else is on that list? I know Byron from Butt Rub, Byron Chisholm. We've had a lot of fun with Byron over the years. Old time cook out of Florida, owns buttrub.com. If you've never seen buttrub.com, you probably have never been in a barbecue store or a Walmart or whatever, because he has a barbecue seasoning that he's had for years and years and years. And, Byron's just a fun guy to be around. We've cooked next to him a ton. He's old school. Okay. He's not into big technology. He's into monitoring a fire and wood and smoke. And he's just a lot of fun. He's a great pick. He's done a lot for charity and a lot for teaching barbecue. And probably his biggest achievements have been from the international perspective. So Byron brought and taught and went over and cooked a lot of international contests and taught the ways of KCBS, or the Kansas City Barbecue Society, to the international community. Or when they would come to the States to cook, he would always provide them with equipment. So done a lot for barbecue. Cool. Great choice. Yeah.
Then you got Flora Payne.
So Flora Payne, don't know that name. I mean, I know Payne's Barbecue in Memphis, old school barbecue joint. I look forward to kind of learning more about Flora Payne because I don't know much there.
And then Dave Raymond.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
A
household name. I've met Dave many, many times. And, he's taken a kind of a backyard sauce to a national thing. And so he's a really fun guy to be around. Used to cook a little bit from a competition, but just knew him in the barbecue circles. So good name there. And then who else was there?
You said Bill Arnold, and then Rick Schmidt.
Rick Schmidt. I don't know much about that name. I'm going to have to do a little research there and figure out. I'm assuming Texas barbecue guy?
Yeah, I think
Texas
so.
barbecue.
I did a little bit of a listen to the Barbecue Central show, and they were talking about him.
Yeah, Greg Rempe, sorry. I didn't listen to the Barbecue Central show, but I do once in a while.
Mentioned our podcast. I mean, he didn't call out the name, but he did say that you had one, so.
He's the best.
Respect.
Greg actually, who has Barbecue Central podcast, he actually sent us some really good feedback. Like this microphone, I used to have it like way back here and off to the side because I didn't want to see it.
Yeah. He's
like, Darren, get the mic in your face. Nobody cares about the video. Everybody cares about the audio quality. So he's given us some tips and hints, just like anybody in the barbecue world, right? Yeah. And that's what's great about the barbecue world is everybody's willing to help one another.
Yeah. He has like a little soundboard. So like he adds in clapping noises and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we might need one of those. It was kind of fun.
Is that something you got to buy, or does that come with this software?
Denied.
You got enough toys. You got toys you don't even use.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, I know.
Not
it's
my
always
fault.
my fault. Always
it's the
my
Hall
fault.
of Famers' fault.
The Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change our podcast description because right now it says Darren Warth Barbecue Pitmaster, but now it should say Darren Warth Barbecue Hall of Famer.
I've been a Hall of Famer since 2009. I was inducted into the Iowa Barbecue Society Hall of Fame.
Was it 2009?
I think it's 2009. It's hanging. If you go into the carryout of the restaurant, it's hanging right there. I don't know. Who knows?
I tried to figure it. I was looking at their website. I was trying to figure it out, but here it looks like it says 2016.
Oh, maybe it is. Time flies.
I don't know either.
Go into carryout. When you walk into carryout on the wall, it's sitting right there. I just saw it the other day.
I'll check it out.
But of course, my memory is really bad when it comes to trophies and accolades and whatever. So
yeah, that's all
I'm
right.
more focused on winning the next one. Okay,
yeah, what
got
is
in
the
the Hall
next
of
one?
Fame. I don't know. You
are taking a little trip to go fishing in Canada. Why don't you just stop at a competition up there while you're at it?
Well, we used to. They used to have a competition. We did that 2 years in a row, doubleheader. I won 3 times out of 4, and then they canceled the competition. So it was fine. So we are international champions too.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah. So
I'm not sure what's next. I heard Rempe mention something about Memphis in May.
He said that's one of the big guys you haven't won yet.
Yeah, so really that's the only world championship that we haven't won. And I'm going to tell you.
Do you have any desire?
We did it once. Okay. Yeah. We went there a few years ago prior to COVID. And we took a whole team down, Lucky Skew, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And we're going to be the first team to win ribs in like 19 years. Okay, 18 or 19 years back then. And we're like, because we've won every other, like at Houston and the Jack and the American Raw, we'd won ribs. And so we were going to win another rib world championship and overall world championship at Memphis in May. And wow, what a wide awakening. It was probably the worst $25,000 mistake I ever made. It's just a different. Those guys are the Memphis guys. I love them all to death. And huge shout out to John Wheeler and his son and the guys over at Pig Beach for finally winning ribs after 21 or 22 years this year and the overall. Yeah. So they got what I wanted. But the whole pomp and circumstance and just no, I'm out.
So no Memphis in May.
I'm out. The only way I'm not going to do it. It's May in Memphis. It's hot. It's muddy. I don't know.
You'd just rather go north?
I'd just rather go north and go fishing in a boat.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Minnesota in May.
Or Minnesota in May. One or the other. But yeah, it's just tough. I really don't have a lot of desire. I see their love for it. Mm-hmm. but I don't have that same love at this point. Who knows? Someday, maybe if somebody else is doing all the work, because that was a lot of work. I mean, that was a week getting ready, a week down there, a week cleaning up, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but not for me. Not for me. Time. I'll just stick to a 4-meat KCBS category or a 3-meat IBCA, and I'll be just happy.
Yeah, that's good. No Memphis in May. We kind of talked. You kind of gave me a heads up about you making it, and you kind of touched back or talked about how you were. You heard from so many different people. Was there anyone that like really surprised you to hear from? Like, I know you said that all of these Hall of Famers, but was there like one specific person that you're like, I did not think that they would reach out to me at all?
Not that I wouldn't think they would reach out, but kind of the way. Last night I got an email from Johnny Trigg.
An email?
Right? I got an email from Johnny Trigg, right?
Okay.
And I'll pull up my phone here, right? And so Johnny Trigg last night couldn't, and Johnny in Johnny fashion. Congratulations, my friend. You are well deserved of this honor. You should have got the honor several years ago. Congratulations, Johnny Trigg. Right? And so I'm like, instantly, of course, anybody that's in barbecue knows Johnny Trigg.
Right.
But I mean, I've heard from so many people, Tuffy Stone, Chris Little. I mean, all these past Amy Mill, all these past Hall of Famers that, I've just associated with over the years. Just saying, hey, long overdue. And I've always, for years, when I've got nominated the past few years, I'm like, guys, I'm not old enough to get in the Hall of Fame. I'm only 50-some years old. I mean, if you don't induct 50-some-year-old people into the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame's for old people. Well, guess what? I guess Hall of Fames aren't for old people. Or I'm getting old.
I've said it once this episode. I'll say it again. I think you're getting a little old.
Damn.
But
makes me not want to be in the Hall of Fame.
I thought it was funny. So we started this podcast only not very long ago. And in the first episode, first or second episode, you say you have no desire to get in the BBQ Hall of Fame. And within weeks, you got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's like they listened and they're like, you know what? We're going to do it anyway.
So let's see if this works. We're going to do a little test.
Okay.
I have no desire to win the American Royal this year.
Ooh. Reverse manifestation. I don't know what you call that. No.
I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Me to come down and help? My mom's not here to help you. I'll drive the trailer.
One of my friends said that to me last night. I can't remember who it was. Said it's going to be really cool to see you on stage on Saturday for the Hall of Fame and see you again on the stage winning the American Royal Open for the 4th time.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I like the way that sounds. Is that relevant? I don't know. We don't cook enough. We don't cook enough to be that consistent, but guess what? Every sow finds an acorn once in a while.
Yeah. Isn't there quite a bit of time between that now and then? You could get some practice in.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've never practiced, Emma.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I don't practice. But, I mean, we're still going to continue to cook, 1 or 2 a month here. Our goal being consistent. I think I'm cooking good food. I ran the 2-rub, 2-sauce combo. Again, I think it worked. It's just I kind of let the ribs and brisket kind of get a little over this past weekend. Otherwise, I think we would have been right there score-wise. But it's kind of weird. One week you're hitting in ribs and brisket, then the next week you hit in chicken and pork, and now you just got to put them all 4 together. And I just need to maybe focus a little bit more. And, we'll see what happens. You don't want to peak too early. Okay, right. There's guys out there that are super winning a lot right now, and I'm like, whoa, you need to lay off. Okay, because you want to peak in October. You don't want to peak in May, right? It's like leading the Masters after the first round. Nobody wants to do that. You're not going to win the Masters leading after the first round.
No.
Just had a message this morning, something that super interesting. So Brad Leininger from getting basted. He's
Okay.
doing something that I dream of. We've flown in over the years.
on.
We've flown into a lot of barbecue contests, right?
Huh?
So we fly in, borrow stuff, put meat in a cooler, just rubs in a carry-on, and go cook a barbecue contest. Okay, one of my favorite things to do. Done it many times. He's doing a double fly-in. He's actually flying and cooking not Bullhead City. He's cooking a Nevada contest this weekend on Friday and Saturday, and then he's jumping on a plane and going to go cook a Colorado contest on Saturday, Sunday.
That sounds insane.
That sounds like fun.
I would say you should try that, but you got a bad knee.
Kind of got a bad knee, bad whatever. But I mean, I've never heard of that being done.
That's insane.
And I hope he wins them both. I mean, that's my
Honestly,
kind of
that would
deal.
be so cool. That would be so cool. What a unique situation.
Yeah.
That's insane.
We talked about TV shows and turning down TV shows.
Yeah.
And, I've done a lot of it over the years just because it's like, I don't want to be on Top Chef. I don't want to be on Barbecue Pit Masters. I don't want to be on Grill Mat, whatever. But I always thought a great idea for a TV show would be, 3 competition cooks showing up at different cities at noon. And you're at each individual airport, and they hand you $1,000 and say, "Hey, you're flying to Columbus, Ohio, and turn ins tomorrow at noon." And you have to go buy or rent your cooker. You have to go find your meat, your sauces, your rubs, and prep everything and turn it in at a regular KCBS contest the next day and get judged against each other. I always thought kind of like the ultimate race.
Yeah, I would.
The Amazing
I would
Race,
watch
maybe.
that. I think you should trademark that so nobody can steal your idea.
Nah, somebody can have the idea. Just put me on it. I might agree to do that one. They can have the idea.
That one.
I got
that's
bigger
pretty
fish to
good.
fry than be a producer.
Yeah, fair enough. I would
Fair
say
enough?
I'd produce it, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Podcast is enough for me.
There is a lot of work behind the scenes into the podcast.
Yeah, there is.
Emma and I
Learning
never
a lot.
talk. Emma and I never talk anymore. We used to sit and talk, but now we have a podcast.
Yeah.
So we spend probably a half hour prior to this,
Yeah,
before filming, talking. And
pretty much
so
through the episode, and then 15 minutes after.
And
to make
15
sure
minutes
I can get all
after we
Darren's
hit the
video.
stop.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
Yeah. So when I say I never see him, it's because I don't. I used to see him at least 2 or 3 times a week, and now I don't. I'm lucky if I see him around.
Yeah, I need to get up to the warehouse and the ornery chicken, give him some love. So maybe next week. That's our goal.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you can think of? We got the Hall of Fame. We'll see what comes out of that. We're next up. I don't know. I got a fishing trip coming up, so I'm trying to get this hernia healed up and this knee healed up, so I can head to Canada and fish for a little walleye, have a little fun.
While you're
then come
fishing,
back.
I'm going to be doing the Pork Expo for you. So
Yeah, for me. What do you mean for me? For us?
well, yes,
right?
us, right?
For us,
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah,
And that's
it's my favorite week of the year.
well. Speaking
Nobody
of the
else
Hall of
likes-
Fame and whatever, I mean, it is the Emmas and everybody in the company that kind of lets me do what I do. Okay, so they're a big integral
Don't give me
part
as much
of.
credit.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give Emma much
Yeah.
credit, but our entire staff, Sherry and I have never really had to be part of the daily operations, even though we're an integral part and we know everything that's going on in that operation. We've never really had to be. So there's never been a day since we started that I couldn't say, "Hey, I'm out of here," right? And so that's a great testament to our management staff and our whole staff.
Yeah,
That that's what Hall of Fames are made of, and then Sherry,
Sherry.
I mean, Sherry gets more accolades she's the one that needs to be on stage,
yeah, I
right?
agree.
And I'm not sure they'll let me take her, but Sherry kind of, she let me do my thing. She let me live my dream, the American dream. And she kind of raised Haley. I was around, but she really raised Haley. And, she was just an integral part of that whole thing. And I mean, she said a long time ago, she's the boss. She's upper management, right? And she said a long time ago, back in 2006, she goes, Darren, you got 10 years to do whatever you want to do. Then we're going to do what I want to do.
Are you doing that? It's been well past 10 years.
We're still doing what I want to do. And I think she's loving it.
I feel like you guys sprinkle in. You guys go on little beach vacations, right?
Yeah. Well, Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. And we got to figure out how to get her on here. So,
yeah, I think
if anybody listen to this, maybe prod her a little bit on Facebook and whatever, because Sherry is not. No. I'm like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? No.
Yeah. Or if I ask her to be in like a video or anything, she's like, are you sure you want it to be me? And I'm like, yes.
She's she's the best behind the scenes bench player in the world. Wouldn't trade her for anything.
Valuable position.
So, okay.
Yeah. I got to go check my phone's been blowing up as well. Not as much as yours, but I shared that you won the Hall of Fame. So I can feel it buzzing.
Feel it buzzing?
Yeah, everybody's commenting. Congratulations to the GOAT. Which now I feel like you've actually earned that title.
Now I've earned the title?
In my eyes. People have been calling you the GOAT forever, but now you're actually Hall of Famer.
No, I can actually be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. We'll see what we can conjure up to talk about next week. You go change the descriptions and get this thing out so people have some listening pleasure. And don't forget, what do you like? Do you ring the bell? What do you do with this stuff?
Yeah, you like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get click the bell so you get notified every time we post on YouTube. Follow, rate us, leave comments. I like looking at comments when they're nice. I take
and if they're not nice, then send them to me.
Well, you can comment them, but I'll just send them to Darren and say, because
I do get some comments. Hey, you're doing this or whatever. Okay, fine. So, no, that's all great. We love it.
Like feedback.
We love feedback, and we want content ideas, right?
Yeah,
I want to get back to talking business again. Enough. Okay, Hall of Fame's over, right? Now we're back to business next week, and let's figure out what's everybody want to know about the restaurant business. What's everybody want to know about the catering business? Are you really just looking for my brisket recipe? If that's the case, let us know, and we'll get you the brisket recipe. You still got to cook it.
Why
not? I told that to Luke Darnell yesterday. I said,
into the Hall of Fame.
That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to stand up on the stage and give everybody my brisket recipe. I said, I know that's the only reason you're sitting here. He's like, he knows my brisket recipe. He's like, you're not going to do that, are you? And I'm like, no. Probably not. Maybe
you've been giving him like a little bit of the information on here.
Yeah. So anyway, just let us know what you want to talk about because we love to talk and we like to teach. Yeah,
we have to do a couple of episodes next week due to the fact Darren's going on vacation and I got to start helping get ready for the Pork Expo. So I'm going to post a questionnaire on our Instagram, a little question form, Cue the Mic Podcast, at Cue the Mic Podcast on Instagram, probably tomorrow or early next week, that says, what do you guys want to hear? What do you want to learn from the restaurant side? All this, and we can kind of build some stuff off that.
Yeah, because you got all weekend to think about it, because I can tell you our planning for the podcast involves about usually 10 minutes, because normally I like to try and record at home because it's quiet and I can't record in the restaurant. So normally our planning is, hey, Emma, I'm leaving the restaurant. I'm heading home. I'll be there in 15 minutes. What are we talking about today? That's our planning.
And I'm a planner, so I like to have, a little bit more of a grasp, but
and I'm
Darren's
not.
We'll come up with it when we come up with it.
I think it's more organic if it's just by the seat of your pants. So anyway, we're rambling now. Yeah. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I got a recliner. I need to probably go rest a little bit.
Yeah. Darren's got to rest. All right. Well, that is episode 6 of Cue the Mic, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And thanks for watching. See ya.